Hey, first grade. I want to read you a chapter of My Father's Dragon. If you can remember, this was my favorite book when I was little, and I was just about to start reading this to you at school when we all started having to do e-learning. So I did pick this up at school last week, and I want to read you chapter 1. If you remember, this is a story about a dragon that needs rescuing from an island of wild animals. Okay, so this is the actual map that shows the island where the poor baby dragon is. And you can see somewhere on here, here he is, the sweet little baby dragon. Around his neck is a chain, and he's tied to this pole, and all he can do is swim or fly back and forth to these two sides of the island. So that is literally not a good life for a baby dragon. And this is another place that they'll talk about, the island of Tangerina. And if you want, I can send you a screenshot of this map if you'd like. Some of the kids, when I read this book, they like to study the map and see where things are. All right, so I'm going to start with chapter 1. This is a little different than reading you a picture book because there's not that many pictures. It's the chapter book. This is by Ruth Stiles Gannett and illustrated by Ruth Krisman Gannett. So they must be sister-in-laws or something like that. Okay, so chapter 1, there are 10 chapters. And there's the dragon, and there's Elmer, who actually becomes the rescuer. And the 10 chapters, and the first one is called My Father Meets the Cat. So I'll kind of show you the picture while I read the chapter. That might work well. So, my father meets the cat. On a cold, rainy day when my father was a little boy, he met an old alley cat on his street. The cat was very drippy and uncomfortable, so my father said, "Wouldn't you like to come home with me?" This surprised the cat. She had never before met anyone who cared about old alley cats, but she said, "I'd be very much obliged if I could sit by a warm furnace and perhaps have a saucer of milk." And that means I'd really be grateful if you'd let me come in your house and have some milk. And because there's a talking cat, I'm kind of feeling like this is fiction. "We have a very nice furnace to sit by," said my father, "and I'm sure my mother has an extra saucer of milk." My father and the cat became good friends. But my father's mother was very upset about the cat. She didn't want the cat in the house. Ooh, this is a strong word. She hated cats. When you read old books, sometimes the words are a little stronger than they are in books today. Today, books tend to word things a little nicer. So she didn't like cats, particularly ugly old alley cats. So that means especially those guys. And I don't think that's an ugly alley cat, do you? An alley cat is a cat that doesn't have a home. It lives in the streets. "Elmer Elevator," she said to my father, "if you think I'm going to give that cat a saucer of milk, you're very wrong. Once you start feeding stray alley cats, you might as well expect to feed every stray cat in town. And I am not going to do it." This made my father very sad, and he apologized to the cat because his mother had been so rude. He told the cat to stay away and that somehow he would bring her a saucer of milk each day. My father fed the cat for 3 weeks, but one day his mother found the cat's saucer in the cellar, and she was extremely angry. She put the cat out the door, but later my father sneaked out and found the cat. Together they went for a walk in the park, and I tried to think of nice things to talk about. My father said, "When I grow up, I'm going to have an airplane. Wouldn't it be wonderful to fly just anywhere you might think of?" "Would you like to fly very, very much?" asked the cat. "I certainly would. I would do anything if I could fly." So they're just chit-chatting about flying. "Well," said the cat, "if you'd really like to fly that much, I think I know a sort of way you might get to fly while you're still just a little boy." Here they are walking and talking. And I'm kind of curious, like, how is he going to get to fly when he's just a little boy? This is kind of an exciting opportunity. You mean, you know where I can get an airplane? Asked Elmer. Well, not exactly an airplane, but something even better. As you can see, I'm an old alley cat now, but in my younger days, I was quite a traveler. My traveling days are over, but last spring I took just one more trip and sailed to the island of Tangerina, stopping at the port of Cranberry. So let's go back. The island of Tangerina, the cat was on, whoops, must be at the way beginning, on this island. And if you notice, there's rocks that go across and they take you to Wild Island. Okay, so you can get from the island of Tangerina to Wild Island or back using those rocks, and probably using a boat too. So where was I? Okay, so she was at the island of Cranberry, or island of Tangerina, stopping at the port of Cranberry. Well, it just so happened that I missed the boat, and while waiting for the next one, I thought I'd look around a bit. I was particularly interested in a place called Wild Island, which we had just passed on our way to Tangerina. Wild Island and Tangerina are joined together by a long string of rocks, but people never go to Wild Island because it's mostly jungle and inhabited by very wild animals. Inhabited means the animals live there. So I decided to go across the rocks and explore it for myself. It certainly is an interesting place, but I saw something there that made me want to weep. That's what the cat said. And I don't know if you know what weep means. It means it made me want to cry. So whatever the cat saw on Wild Island was actually sad and made her want to cry. So she actually did go across those ocean rocks and get to Wild Island. And guess what? That takes us to chapter 2. So I will be reading you guys chapter 2 another day. And usually when I read this at school, the kids are like, no, read the next chapter. But I am actually going to stop here and just do a video for each chapter. So you'll have to look for the next chapter. This is My Father's Dragon, chapter 1. The next chapter is called My Father Runs Away. That's not a good idea. And like I said, in older books, sometimes they use words that we wouldn't use today, and sometimes they have scenarios, which means things happen that we wouldn't make a book about today. So running away is never a good idea, and I think Elmer realizes that when he does it. But anyway, we can learn through him that never run away. So every year when I read this story with my first graders, we always talk about, why didn't Elmer just tell his parents about this problem for this dragon and have them come with him? So that would have probably been a better idea for Elmer, but nope. In this chapter, he's actually going to take it upon himself to go and rescue the dragon. So you guys are going to have to see what the next chapter holds, and I will see you next time